guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina and I would love it so much if you would subscribe. If you guys aren't aware, September is Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month and I have a spinal cord injury. It paralyzed me in 2012 and so I'm using this month to talk about spinal cord injuries on my social media platforms. I've been doing the majority of my posting on Instagram, so if you guys don't follow me there, please do so. It's just at heysabrinafaith. I connect with you guys a lot over there, so if you guys like my content or want to know more about me, then going to Instagram is the place to go. Today I wanted to talk to you about college as a disabled person. I have a bachelor's degree, I don't know why I just forgot, in graphic design, so I've been in school for quite some time. I just graduated last May, so May of 2019, and I wanted to kind of go over quickly my thoughts about it as a whole. So I was injured at 19 and I was injured when I was going to community college. I did have to take time off in order to focus on getting better and healing and becoming independent. And so I went back. The only reason I went back to school is because I knew that as a disabled person I was going to have a very hard time finding a job. And for me personally, I'm not someone who wanted to live off of government income for the rest of my life. So I use this as a way to get back into school. Because I'm disabled, there are lots of resources out there. So if you're someone who's disabled and looking to go back to school, I definitely suggest checking out vocational rehab. They helped me so much with schooling and making sure that I was taken care of. So definitely find your local vocational rehab and get in with them and see what they can do for you as far as schooling goes. I finished up my associate's degree and I do not remember if vocational rehab was helping me at that point, but in order for me to get back and forth to classes, I used public transit systems because at the time I did not drive because I didn't have the money nor the resources to get a car and to have it modified. So luckily I live close enough to my campus that I was able to do public transit, which had its downsides because I had to make sure that I was on someone else's schedule. So I either got to class really early or I had to stay on campus for a really long time. There were times where class would be canceled and I would just be at campus all day because I had already pre-scheduled my rides. So that did kind of suck, but I did roll across the stage. I don't remember when I graduated, but I have a video on my channel here of me graduating with my associates, and I was the only person in a wheelchair that I remember at that time in that school, so it was awkward. This was a community school, so they did have to do a little bit of adjustments, but because everyone there had knew me prior to my accident and knew me on a personal level, I don't feel like I had any problems getting any sort of accommodations. There were times where the buttons on the door wouldn't work and teachers would see me and they'd be like, I've already put in a report for you, don't worry. Coming from a community college and going to a university, people at a community college really know you. The classes are much smaller. The only thing downside to that is the classes are physically much smaller, not just people. And so sometimes if I showed up late to class, which happened often, I would have trouble finding a seat that was the easiest for me to sit in without making a whole scene. So I guess that's kind of my fault for being late to class. But that's personally at a community college level. I started going to a university to pursue my graphic design degree, and I was there for 3 years, I believe, pursuing my bachelor's. And I had a lot of resources there because it was a university, so there were other people who had disabilities of all sorts there. I knew plenty of wheelchair users that went to that campus. Personally, I can't think of there being any support groups, but if you were looking for that, definitely look for one on your campus or start one. That would have been something I would have really loved as a student, is getting involved in something like that. I did get involved in certain groups that applied to me that weren't just around my disability, where I met other wheelchair users and it was helpful to me there. Also, check out your disability services. There should be someone there to have as like a backup for you. My lady wasn't that helpful. In fact, the disability services building was not that accessible, which was ironic, but they were there so I had to put my disability on file as far as like if I needed any accommodations for classes, I had to have it on file. So I did that pretty early in the semester. So that it was on file for me. And because I went there for so long, most of the teachers that I had knew me because they'd had me previously. So that was nice too, building that rapport with them. There were times where sometimes classrooms weren't accessible and we were able to switch stuff around. There was one classroom that I went to that was like theater seating, and so I just kind of made my lap my desk, and if I needed to, if I got there late. There were times where the elevator were down and I was excused from going to class, which absolutely sucks, but unfortunately that was it. There were also times where campus was not cleared and I had a heck of a time getting to class. I can't speak. There were like security people that were supposed to be able to give me rides or push me to class, but they told me that I was a liability. That was a whole issue. So definitely, if you are a disabled person on a university campus, check your disability services, because they should have resources there for you. And if they do not, fight for them, because that's something that I did not do as hard as I should have. And it's very frustrating, so definitely fight for that. As far as like the classwork and load work goes, there were times where I had to miss class for like doctor's notes. In fact, the last semester before I graduated, I had burnt my foot and had a skin graft, and so I was off of school for a very long time while that healed. Thankfully, because of my degree, I was able to do a lot of the stuff from home in bed while I was recovering and send it in, but that may not be the case for you. So I think, again, I say this a lot on my channel, communication is key. I would email my professors the moment I knew something was changing, and I would send any sort of documentation with them. I did become very open and honest with them about my disability and the struggles if something were to happen, but fortunately, I guess you could say, in college, majority of college professors do not care if you show up or not. So as long as you are communicating with them and letting them know, they are more than likely going to work with you. As far as my tips and tricks, that's really all I have. If you guys have anything that you would like to add, please do so in the comments below. I love using these videos as a place where you can get a conversation going in the comments. I just kind of give my general fast thoughts, and I would love to hear some of yours in the comments below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.